Welcome to part 3 of the Clionadh Chronicles. If you have never watched any of these, and yeah, it's only 2 parts, or you just start with now part number 3, then let me tell you what this is. I call 72 stained glass multichromes from the brand Clionadh my own, my precious obsession, my precious possession here, and I did a swatch flicks and chill on these. This is a video series where I just sit there cozy with my glasses on and swatch makeup just for the sake of swatching them. And I ask you, do you want to see a look with every single of these Clionadh shadows? And you said yes, and so I thought since it's 72 shades divided by 3, I can make a video series out of that, and this is now video 3 out of 24 where I show you 3 looks. In the beginning of each look, I never know what shade I'm going to use because I do have a Wheel of Fortune on my phone. I put every single shade name in there and then I spin the wheel basically while I film this. Then I decide what other palette I use to complement that shade. The goal is to make each shade here the center of attention. This, by the way, that I'm wearing is the shade Aura on my lid. It is from the second look of this video. But now, with any more rambling or so, let's head into the 3 demos of the 3 shades of today. Let's spin the first wheel of this video, and we have, for whatever reason it doesn't say it here on the top, we have the shade Sterling. You see it underneath the wheel. Oh, and by the way, I reorganized my Clionadh collection because I now got 3 30-pan palettes from Cryptine, I think it's Cryptine Cosmetics. And they have these see-through palettes, and now I, of course, color-coded everything, so... And the good thing is I still now have some open spots for new, but I'm not planning to buy some anytime soon. Maybe Black Friday, maybe. And this is the shade Sterling. On the website, Sterling is described as a teal base that shifts warm and cool silver to turquoise, and this is an electric multichrome. And here you have a swatch of this. I don't know where the warmth is. Maybe a bit. I definitely see the silver. And here you have a phone video with flash on, like unfocused, focus. I think with the unfocused you definitely see the specks a bit better that are going through that shade. And since this is such a frosty, wintry shade in my opinion, I'm pulling in a Christmas or a winter palette. The Gourmand Girls Silent Night. This is on my chopping block because I'm not sure if I really want to keep it or not. And I think this is going to pair very, very well with this palette. I'm starting with the shade Heavenly. And this is my transition color. Next up, I tap into All Is Calm and use it in the crease. I now go into Silent Night. I apply this on the outer third of the lid. And blend this upwards in the crease a bit. I applied my glitter glue and now I go finally into Sterling. And I start to tap this on here on the inner lid part. And then I tap it outwards on top of the dark eyeshadow. But the main concentration I want to have where no eyeshadow was before, on the bare lid. Let's get a bit adventurous now. I'm using the Victoria Beckham Satin Kajal in the shade Night Flash. This is I think a dark silver. I only swatched it once. Yes, it's a black and silver. Or a black with silver specks, however you want to call it. With the tiniest pencil brush that I own, this is by the way the Refer 03, I go into the shade Shush, and I use this directly on that line here to smooth and smudge out the liner. I now tap into All Is Calm, and I use this to blend that out even further down for a smoky look. I could use Sterling for inner corner highlight too, but since this is on my chopping block, I want to use something from the palette for that inner corner. The most obvious choice would be Frosty because this is a silver with a purple glitch going on. But I want to do something different, so I go with Peace. And if I remember it correctly, this is a bluish silver oily spill shade. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm right, who knows. But I apply this as inner corner highlight. Ooh. It has some green undertones going on, greenish golden too, and matches the vibe of Sterling perfect. And here we have now the first finished look with Clionadh Sterling and the Gourmand Girl Silent Night. On the lips, I'm wearing the Lisa Eldridge, I forgot the name again, the Shade and Sculpt pencil, Sculpt and Shade pencil in 3C, and I filled it in completely and topped it off with my Givenchy Le Rouge Interdit Balm in the shade 10, you know, my focus lipstick, the one that is actually nearly empty, and this is going to be a used up lipstick in, I don't know, the first one in like 10 years or so. This shade plus this palette, match made in heaven. The palette, by the way, goes back to the chopping block because my main concern with this one are not the mattes. They perform very, very nice. It's the shimmers. I don't know if you can see it, but some of them just look super duper flaky and chunky. And I mean, Peace went on super nice. Frosty is a good one. But aside from that, I was not really wowed by the rest. So it goes back to the chopping block, and you will now move on to look number 2. Okay, let's spin the wheel for look number 2. What kind of shade are we going to get? We get Aura today. Guess we're going for a very neutral look today because Aura is this one here, and this is a Series 2 iridescent multichrome. And on the website, it is described as a translucent base that reflects pink, red, orange, gold, and lime. So let's do a nice swatch here. Ooh, I definitely see gold. I see pink. I see the lime. We definitely need to do a look where this is on at least 1/3 of the lid and then maybe fades into something. But before that, you get the phone flash video. And I don't know why, but when I saw the swatch on my hand and saw the description, I immediately thought of Cosmic Brush's Muse palette. It's on my chopping block because I don't know if I really want to keep it. So maybe this video is not only going to be about the Clionadh shadows, but also just going through my chopping block palettes. And I think that with this palette, I can create a great matte base plus one of the shimmers and then incorporate Aura as star of the look. So I'm actually starting with the shade Willow here on a quite long flimsy brush, and I very, very softly run this through the crease. And I also wiggle it a bit up. I will diffuse it later with a different shadow, but this is the base of this look basically. I now tap into Paddle, and that one I use on the most outer parts. I don't want to touch the crease. I want to use it to diffuse. Use to diffuse. Wow. So creative. I now go into Filigree, and that one I apply on the outer crease and outer V. And I don't know why, maybe because of the lime description of Aura, I'm very, very drawn to the shade Water Lily. So I take a small pencil brush and I apply Water Lily here on the inner crease. And very, very softly blend it towards the crease center. I definitely want to do a dark shimmer on the outer part of the lid, and I'm thinking of either doing Amethyst or Patina, but I will start with the Aura shade and then just see how it looks at the end applied and then decide to do it like that or maybe in a different way. So now pick up Aura. I love these iridescent multichromes, and I know there is a new series, Series 3, and I can't wait for the new releases in that new series. And I start to apply this very, very gently, starting on the inner lid. It looks very, very pink when I look in the mirror. And then I kind of diffuse it outwards. I now go into patina. I think that one works best with this look. And I tap this here on the outer part, just like that. But I also went back into Aura and I tap it on top of this border and a bit outwards. I kind of want to mimic a it just is a flow into that other shade. For the lower lash line, I'm using the Colourpop BFF Cream Gel Liner in the shade Hit the Jackpot. That's a dirty greenish gold, and I think that matches this vibe very well. Now go into Willow again, and I start to smudge this across the lash line. And then I go into Sweet Pea, and I wipe this here on the inner part of the lower lash line and swipe it outwards. And I could totally use now either Aura or maybe Antique Muse or Luster as inner corner highlight. But since we are going for a Forest Fairy vibe today, I want to use a glitter. I haven't touched my glitters in such a long time, and today is the day. And I will be using from the Lemonhead LA Space Case Mini the shade Sugarfish. Do you see how much I used up of this? I mean, it's not like full to the max, but they are quite filled up. So I picked up some of Sugarfish and I dab this now on the inner corners. And here we have now the finished look. Sorry for the weird hair. I don't know what's going on. I don't have my comb here, so just roll with it. I did apply for the brow bone highlight the shade Muse. I was thinking of doing Aura too, but I thought it might be a bit too much. And on the lips, I'm wearing a very thin layer of MAC Night Moth lip liner. And I topped that off with, and I know, super weird, who am I, with the Ritual the Fee, they're called the Enchanted Lip Sheens in Medusa. Or Medusae. It's the one that is from the limited edition with S Andromeda from Instagram. And I honestly really like this green lip color, but it has more of a gray tint, and together with the Night Moth lip liner, honestly, looks really nice. I enjoy the overall look, and I do feel actually like a forest fairy from a, I don't know, like a fairy tale or something like that, and I am about to grant you a wish in the forest or something. It's it is definitely a vibe. It is not my favorite vibe. While I do like the shade Aura itself, I just am not a fan of these greens, but I have to admit that there is something in there. I don't know why my mind shifts currently, but I'm getting sucked into this, and the longer I look at the Muse palette, the more I'm convinced that I actually want to put it back in the shelf, but for now, I put it back on the chopping block. And now let's buckle up for look number 3. So let's spin the wheel for look number 3, and it is Ring of Fire. So Ring of Fire is this beautiful shade, and this is part of the Deep Sea Treasure collection. On the website it is described as fiery as the name suggests. This eyeshadow erupts with impact. A large particle little shadow with red hot sparkles that shift red, orange, peach, yellow. So let's see how true that is. I actually see it, and I have to admit that Ring of Fire is one of the most beautiful shades from the Deep Sea Treasure palette. And here you have your regular phone flash swatch video. And I already know what palette I want to use this with. This is the new Guerlain X Pucci Quad. This is number 45 Marmo Vibe. And honestly, it's a pain in the ass to open. It's because this is so chunky, I'm already pissed. But look at this palette, and I think I can create something very, very pretty with the black, the red, and the white. I never used Guerlain eyeshadows, so this is going to be a first one, and I'm starting actually with the black. And I apply this on the outer third of the lid, and then I diffuse it a bit in the crease. I now tap into the red, and I start to blend this in the crease, blending it inwards and outwards on top of the black. I definitely need some blending help, because if I now add the white, the red will turn pink, and that's not what I want. So I take my Lisa Eldridge Vega, and I take whatever is left here from French Grey. You won't believe it, I actually ordered a new replacement because I need a new French Grey. And that one I just apply in the transition area to diffuse everything. So glitter glue's down, and now I go into Ring of Fire, and I apply this on the lid. And with no additional black, I just blend it out here on the outer parts and take it a bit in. So I skip liner today. My eyes feel a bit sore, watery. So I tap straight into the black. I smudge this along the lower lash line, all the way to the inner corner. But it, of course, gets lighter towards the inner corner, which is exactly what I want. And next up I tap into the red, and I smudge this on top of the black. Since I use a slightly bigger brush, it goes on top and underneath at the same time. For inner corner highlight, I'm tapping now into the white and apply that. And honestly, there would be nothing wrong if you leave it like that, but I can't. I don't like matte inner corners. So I want to take the chance and incorporate a new single eyeshadow that I haven't tried yet. This is the Too Faced Disco Crush. These are very pricey single eyeshadows, and this is the shade Fairy Dust. I actually saw just a swatch on Instagram from somebody, I don't even know who it was, and I was like, I need that, and now they're available in Germany, so I have it. And I tap this on top of the white. And here we have now the third and finished look of this video. For the lips, I didn't use any lip liner or so. They are a bit sore, just like the rest of me, because I'm getting sick and I don't like that. So I used only a lip oil. I used the Colourpop Luxe Lip Oil from the Twilight line, and this is Team Jacob. Quick thoughts on this quad. Is it worth the price? Absolutely not. Is it still pretty? Absolutely yes, but I mainly bought it because I was instantly drawn to these four colors. But at the end, I don't think the quality is that good. I don't know what I expected, but it is fairly dry, which makes it easy to blend and build up. So maybe that's a pro that I just don't see right now. The eye look itself is very much me, it's very much my current vibe, and I really like it. I think, or I feel, and I think I look a bit like a fireplace, so I really do like that. And that's it for this part of the Clionadh Chronicles. We were in part 3 and we covered the shades. Oh god, what did we cover? Ring of Fire, Aura, and what was the first one? Sterling. I mean, it's obvious this look is definitely my fave because I just have such a sweet spot for black and red looks, and this is just so pretty and loud. But I have to admit that I like the first look with Sterling also very, very much, because Sterling is such a unique, cool toned, silvery, bluish, shifty shade that it just needed its place to shine. And I think with that first eye look, I really nailed that. The second look, of course, very pretty. Aura is such a beautiful iridescent shade with so many shifts in that one pan, but I didn't like so much the mattes because it is too dirty green, and that's just not my vibe. I'm very, very happy that the Deep Sea Treasure palette is back. You can pre-order it right now on Clionadh. I think it is shipment end of September. So if you like that Ring of Fire, or in one of the other videos we covered the shade Cephalopod from that same palette and you were like, oh my god, I need that, then now is your time to get this. I think the whole collection is back. Let me know your thoughts down below, and if you do not have an opinion on any of these looks and you just want to push the algorithm, comment Ring of Fire. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.